And we're moving the cows. We're moving the cows. Big 20 there, she always has to go against the grain. The whole herd moves this way, she's got to go out that way. So Karen's leading. And I'll shut gates. I'm not shutting these behind me, but yeah, I better shut these. Well, I'll never have time. Shoot, they're so far ahead of me now. We just got to go around the building. We just put a Hotwire up to lead them through the field, and you can see they're already past Karen up. They know exactly where they're going, to the next pasture. That's pretty funny. That is pretty darn funny. They're gonna beat her over to the pasture, so I'm almost tempted, instead of walking behind these, to shortcut on the road to make sure nobody charges through the fence on the road. I can shut these gates behind, so we got 30-acre pasture, 30-acre pasture, 30-acre pasture, gates for easy moving. Yeah, nobody's gonna be left behind. I better just shortcut on the road so nobody goes on the road. Well, the early ones, they've already made it around. They're already out in the pasture. Now you get some, they get confused in the corner. Well, this is our retail hay area. They get confused in the corner because they want to go through the fence. You know, corn is a great part of our grass-fed program. It really makes grass-fed successful. I'm just kidding. So everybody's out, and they found the water right away, and then they're all just standing there, and a couple cows are grazing, and then everybody just beelines towards that old dump area. So Karen's got to go get the fencer, and we'll get the fencer plugged in, and yeah, and then she's just going to kind of spend some time out here with them and just watch and make sure there's no escapees. And later here this summer, we'll figure out how to partition off the pasture for our paddocks. So yeah, otherwise there's enough acres here that even if we didn't partition everything off and just let them graze, it would be just fine. But yeah, we might do yeah. We got plenty of rain this year, so the crop is, I fertilized the pasture. You can actually see the green streaks where I fertilized. I just used the sprayer and the Y drops like for corn, you know. And so there's plenty of pasture, so even if we never paddocked it off, because our acres to cow ratio is very good, we don't need to actually do any management. We just need to let them be alive. That is literally, so we're kind of spoiled in that aspect. But we would be curious that what if we held them back, a lot less traveling, walking, you know, kind of deal. Just like cut the pasture in half and gave them one half for a couple weeks and then gave them the other half for a couple weeks, kind of deal. See what we might do, something like that. The hilltop needs all the manure it can get, so we'll move the working station and their loafing area. We got to build some loafing sunshade area, so we're going to put that up on top of the hill. So then all the manure can get up there, and then in the wintertime you can bed up there across the whole ridge. It needs it. So anywhere, like in the wintertime, we can push them towards closer to the woods and bed and manure up on that hilltop. But yeah, this 7 acres here, 7 acres, this second, you know, pasture 1, pasture 2, pasture 3, pasture 2, I have to do a grid sample this fall because we did one years ago, and we've ran a very minimalistic program since then on fertilizer. So it'd be interesting to see where the soil tests are, but that'll be a different video. And then the wrapper, I got to do a follow-up video on the coon wrapper. We got a love-hate relationship in the beginning with it. Here's the boss. I better put my phone. All right, cows are over safe. Karen's doing cow duty. Let's see if we can't rescue some corn acres. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but we have a patch in the field that looks like hell. It's been lagging all spring. I threw your normal, NPK, sulfur, all that kind of stuff at it, and it never responded. So now it's time to bring in science. And what we got going on is, so I took a snipping of, I took a plant tissue sample and sent it in, and it came back that we were low on boron. So they say that some of these micronutrients, boron is one of them, that helps the plant deal with macronutrients. So I got some boron. I'm working with Conklin. It's an American-made product, and I think it's made in Minnesota. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's even a Minnesota product. I've been to some Conklin Pro Ag classes before, not as a customer. This is my first experience with their product. I've dealt with some of the Conklin salespeople that are a little too excited about what their products can do, but I liked when Dennis did the presentations for Conklin. Very science-based, very practical, common sense. Like when you're sitting there the whole time, you're like, yeah, I'll buy that for $1. I'm scooping what you're pooping here. I'm picking up what you're throwing down. I'm eating what you're cooking, and so I thought I'll give them a try. So we're going to see foliar. In theory, one thing it's not designed to do is to really save a crop. If you have so we're kind of against the grain here, but so we're going to see if we can't at least stimulate the plant, at least give it a little something of a kick in the butt. That's all we're trying to do here. I'm not trying to take this field or this patch. I get that with foliar feeding, we are not going to make up 100 N credits with foliar feeding. But maybe with a micronutrient pass and a sugar pass, we can stimulate between the plant and the soil. Maybe we can stimulate something to at least get the plant getting up and get going. You'll see it. I'll show you the crop here in a second. Products I got is one is a Synthose sugar, and that's to help stimulate soil microbial activity, and it has some fulvic acids to just see if we can't, quote unquote, give the plant some energy between the plant and the soil life. And then this is our boron. So I got 3 pints to the acre of boron based upon the plant tissue sample. I got 1 pint per acre of the Synthose, and then I've bought 5 gallons per acre of 318-18. That'd be like what you run in furrow, but I'm going to use it as my carrier here. So they kind of talked to me because I told them, I said, well, I did foliar feeding in the past. It just never worked, I said, and they're like, how'd you do it? And I said, well, my local sales agronomist, heavy on the word sales, light on the word agronomists, they all said, well, if you're heading out to the field anyhow with some herbicide in your soybeans, buy this product from us. It's proven, 2 bushel response in soybeans and blah, blah, blah. It seemed like, the retailer made money on that product, but I didn't because the theory behind the foliar feed is all different than what, if you're making a trip, you might as well carry some fertilizer, was the theory. And so the folks at Conklin are like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. The theory behind foliar is we need to know the growth stage of the plant because some growth stages you don't foliar. We need a tissue sample from the plant because you can't just go out there with a broad spectrum or a willy-nilly type fertilizer program and throw it into the crop and expect a positive result. You can actually do more damage that way. And you want high boom pressure, very little water. Well, when you're going out with for herbicide or fungicide, what, 10, 15, 20 gallons of water per acre? And sometimes herbicides are a larger droplet. And so they're like, nope, you want very, very, 0 to a couple gallons per acre of water at the most. You want very high boom pressure. You want to create a fog going in that crop canopy for best efficacy of the product. So I'm going to follow their instructions. I like their theories. I'm going to follow their instructions. We're going to head over to the field. It's right on the other. And so you got this corn here, and it wraps around that house. You know, you got an 80 that basically. And so on the other side, it does not look like this. This area right here looks a little tough because this is my traffic area. So I park the hay rack here and I unload the hay rack here, you know, even when it's springy and muddy. And so this little, you know, 40 feet by 100 feet is kind of an ugly little area, regardless of the crop or the year. But you can see as you get over the hill, it's nice, big green, dark green corn, looks good. And we can see the rest of this 80 back here, it looks really good. We'll get to that spot out there and you're gonna be like, holy hell, what did you do wrong, John? All right, I know some of you guys think I was telling stories. It had some fertilizer burn, so it is recovering from some of the fertilizer burn. But you can just see how short. I mean, this row here is well under knee high. So we got a lot of unevenness going this way, and we've got unevenness going this way. And it's just kind of like this little 10-acre parcel here. So we're just gonna throw on and see if we can't get it to work, to just get something there. There's potential. I mean, there is some green here. There's potential, but it is way behind. So we're gonna see if we can't kick it in the butt. So what I think I'm going to do is, so we got 20-inch spacing. Here's my corn nozzle, here's my corn nozzle. So these two will leave on. But then this guy, he's off. He's in between the row. So we'll turn him off. And then the next two on, and then the next guy off. And then by killing them nozzles, we're gonna create higher pressure at these. So hopefully we can get a good fog rolling. And these nozzles are only 5 inches off the row to the inside. So he's 5 inches and he's 5 inches. And that's how my drop tubes worked. And so I'm hoping we can create a good fog above the plant and it settles down into the canopy. And, you know, in a week we'll come back or whatever and see what the heck happened. So let me set up my nozzles and we'll get going. The other thing we're gonna do out here is I'm gonna grid pattern this field. We did it a number of years ago and I'm gonna do it again to see, can we see something on a soil test that this part of the field is lacking. And maybe I'm pushing it too hard. Maybe I'm trying to transition it too fast to soil health. We got a lot of questions to diagnose this little bad spot. And so, yeah, all right. It's hard to see because you're at such a low volume per acre. It's hard to see anything coming out of the boom, but we'll go back and we'll see what it's doing. And I'm carrying the boom high to get a good coverage. I don't want the boom super low, where it's just kind of spritzing a plant and then you're gonna miss some plants. We want to carry that boom fairly high to start creating a good, really good fog, or you know, so your nozzles get a good pattern on them. And so it seems to be holding 6 gallons. I don't seem to have any nozzles dripping. It looks like a really good pattern out of everybody. So we'll stop at the headland and see what it looks like. It'd be exciting if this worked. By golly, it'd be really exciting. You can see the little tiny peppers on the plant. See a little bit on that plant, but not a whole lot on that row. This row looks good. That row looks good. This row, there's some out there, but not a whole lot. kind of, so I don't know, maybe I open up them other nozzles and we see what it looks like. To get more even coverage, or for this experiment, do we just let it hit these couple rows? Yeah. The fertilizer might be a little thick for these tips. I'm going to open up the other nozzles now. So we got 2 rounds of that. I'm going to open up the other nozzles and see what we get done. The fertilizer is thick enough that it looks like it actually gives a pretty okay fog underneath the boom, even with all the nozzles open. So that's kind of interesting. So that gives us a lot better coverage. So it should be a little more effective that way. Oh yeah, fun, fun, fun. I don't know if it matters to anybody, but when you're running a heavy straight fertilizer versus water, your target rate is probably going to come out a little bit low. So if you set it for 5 gallons an acre, and you're probably going to come out closer to 4 gallons per acre, just because it's going to run. It's harder. That heavy fertilizer is more dense and harder to push through the boom. So I've upped the rate on the monitor, hoping it comes, like 1 gallon low or something like that. Now let's get back out and check our coverage. It's kind of hard to tell, but yeah, good coverage on that leaf. It's not perfect throughout the plant. You got here. So the width of the row is getting covered good, just not every square inch of every leaf. So that's a little bit weird, but okay. At least every plant now is getting something. And so we've only got a splash left to go. And yeah, we'll just go a few more rounds till we're used up. This is also the field I screwed up on fertilizer. It happens. When I was calibrating the strip till cart, I did not have the monitor on PWM setting, and the strip till cart is controlled by a PWM valve. And so while I thought it was applying, you'd go a ways, and then you would hop out, look at the fertilizer, and like, gosh, it's really not going down. And you change your calibration, but it seemed like it calibrated fairly close, but I think that was just really dumb luck or a strange situation. But as I went across the field, you're like, gosh, that fertilizer tank just doesn't seem to be going down. Maybe it's holding a lot more than I thought. I had no idea. And then pretty soon you're like, okay, something's clearly not right here. And so now we're trying to play catch up on some of this field with fertilizer as well as actually having a problem. And so, I don't know. Live and learn, right? Live and learn. Maybe we should do an experiment on this field, because you can see this ugly pattern. It continues down, but it's kind of this west half of the field. Something's up with this west half of the field. But maybe we do this, maybe this becomes a long-term video series as can we bring this field to life? This is very strange. Very strange. All right, well, we got done. We had 18.9 acres. I was shooting for 20. I did a couple passes at a high rate, a couple passes at a low rate, just to see if I lowered the rate, one, the contrast and application, would we be able to see that line? And two, at the lower rate, would the boom still give us a nice coverage? And it really did. It actually really did. So now we got to go pull some soybean and wheat samples and see if we can't fertilize them fields. Yeah, this is a tough year. I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying this is a tough year. This year, you would swear by looking at my soybean fields. The soybean fields were all planted within a couple days of each other. We're all sprayed within a couple days of each other. And you would swear looking at weed pressure, weed control, soybean plant growth, you would swear that them fields was a 3-week time difference between them fields. You know, this is one of them years, any little hiccup right in the beginning just carries through the year. And this field, I think by making that fertilizer mistake in the beginning, I don't know if that's what did it or not, but you would have think that the top dressing or side dressing would have made up for that, but it is not. This corn is just sitting here doing nothing. And so we'll pull a soil test, and this winter we'll come up with, or this fall we'll have some results, and be quite interesting to see if this can't turn into a project field. The history of the field is just lack of maintenance and fertilizer, and maybe, like I said before, maybe I'm just pushing it too hard, trying to get it too fast into soil health. Maybe it needs a lot more commercial fertilizer before I take commercial fertilizer away. Maybe it needs a big moldboard plow job. I don't know, but we're gonna find that out this fall behind the soil test and see what the heck happens, and then we will hopefully this works. And I would love for this to work, and I would love to become addicted to Conklin products and a very micromanaged nutrient program like this. I'm really skeptical how a squirrel peeing on this planted corn worth of product is going to do anything, but we'll see. We'll see. I am extremely skeptical, but I hope it works. I hope it works. Yeah, so I don't know, guys. Hey, thanks for watching me today. We'll come back to this field in a couple weeks, or, you know, good, bad, ugly. We'll come back to this field in a couple weeks and see what we see. And so, yeah. So we started to cannibalize the cowbrella to make these shades. And so we'll put one more pipe in the center there. Like my portable welder setup, I just strap my stick welder on top of the generator. So then we'll have a bunch of little tarps to move around, so when we put them freestanding panels together to make the corral, they'll create your eave, you know what I mean? So it'll look like a fabric pole shed, you know, with a nice big pitched roof. So then we can either just leave them together to create I think we'll end up close to like a 15 by 75, you know, like a 20 by 75 pole shed, basically made out of cow fabric. And since they're butting against each other, they should be fairly storm safe and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know, I don't know about you guys. Half the time I'm just making this stuff up as we go. Someday I can't wait to get to the point of writing a check and just having something delivered. But yeah, I don't know. Hell of a day.